My current title is Extension Services Manager, and that department oversees the bookmobiles, books by mail, and general outreach, which includes special events.
I am the library's one and only virtual services librarian. And the virtual services librarian I cover a lot of different bases, but I work with the nerds back in technical services, and we're pretty proud to be called nerds. But I help patrons as they experience all of our resources and everything that we have outside of the library.
I am a reference and adult services librarian at the Bartram Trail Library, which is in the northwest part of the county. So I'm in charge of like the nonfiction collection as well as programming for adults.
I am the assistant branch manager / adult services librarian. I oversee the adult programming here. I spend a lot of time on the reference desk helping patrons with questions.
I am the youth services librarian here at Main Library. I work with the children in the children's department, anyone from birth up to teenagers getting ready to graduate college or high school, going into college. Well, our number one priority here in the children's department is fostering lifelong lovers of learning. We want them to be engaged and encouraged to follow, their interests. So whether it's through a storytime program or through a science program or a technology program, we just want to encourage kids to love learning, find books, explore, and we do everything we can to foster that.
I started almost 30 years ago, and there were still card catalogs in the library, but we were also on computers. So we saw it during the transition, and so it made things faster for us, easier, more accurate perhaps, the finding of information, bringing it to people. But also it really, in a lot of ways, changed the personality of the stereotype, I guess you might say, or not. I mean, we have a lot of geeks and nerds, so to speak, who become librarians. But in a lot of ways, librarians are a lot more interesting because they are more tech savvy, and they come from different fields that technology has broadened the horizon of our profession to.
I feel very lucky in that I was able to see many of the changes firsthand. I have actually been working in libraries or volunteering in libraries or interning at different libraries since 1994. And back then the technology was vastly different than what we have now. So I feel very fortunate that I've been able to witness many of the changes. Some of the things have been pretty obvious. For instance, database searches used to pay by, I think it was you were paying by the minute to access a lot of databases. And while there have been many changes, I think that libraries have been doing a very good job of staying at the forefront. A lot of people don't realize that ebooks have actually been around since at least 1998, just not in an easy format to get to, but libraries have been trying very hard to stay on the forefront of many of the changes to anticipate some of the things that will happen.
I've been a librarian for over 15 years, and this was a position that didn't exist 15 years ago. But because libraries are always expanding what we provide for our patrons want those virtual resources, and so we get to those and we provide those, but they need their own librarian too. So we have front-end staff that are very good at troubleshooting and helping patrons with those resources, but I step in when people need additional training, there's additional hiccups with their devices, something's funky, they're getting a weird error message. So I serve those patrons in a more advanced capacity when they can't be helped in the front-end staff.
The library used to be a place where you just come, you get books, and you leave. And now it's a place where people can come and use a computer. They can search for jobs, they can apply for Social Security, welfare. They can get digital ebooks from home. We've recently, our new database of Overdrive has merged into this new database called Libby, so they can get audiobooks as well as books that they can read right on their phone. And like I said, they changed the app, so it's a lot more user-friendly, which is really cool because patrons are always looking for things for when they travel. And so now they can just download it on their phone, they can plug it into their car and listen to it as they drive. They don't have to worry about discs.
New technology is fascinating and it's a lot of fun, and the kids are into it probably more than we are. So I have to stay on top of what's happening with new technology. We've added a lot of iPads into our programming. More recently, we've added the Lego robotics programs. We're teaching coding to children using the Hour of Code lessons. We just had an Osmo coding program yesterday, which is a hands-on program with little building blocks that do the actual computer coding for you. We do Lego robotics, like I said, for 2 different age groups, where they build not only the Lego creations, but then they program them and run them using iPads and Bluetooth. very popular programs here at the library. So we're always trying new things. There's the classic science and experiments and stuff like that, but then we're getting more and more into technology. We're always trying to look ahead to see what the next thing is. And the kids show us. You know, we follow their lead. They come into the room and they're talking about the things that they're excited about. We pick up on that and we build on that. And we find the books that are related to those subjects, books that are related to those technologies. We learn them ourselves so we can talk about them with the kids. And then we take it to the next step so we can show them some new things as well.
One of the things that attracts me the most, at least to libraries, and why why I love my job, to be completely honest, is the idea that we are one of the last equalizers sort of in society, where we don't really judge people based on any of the demographic information. Everybody gets treated the same, and this is one of the few institutions where you can see such wide cross-sections of society in one place, where people still have the opportunity to interact with each other that they might never meet anywhere else. And I think that's an exciting thing about what we do, and one of the overlooked parts of libraries.
My favorite thing about the library is you don't need an invitation. This is your space. And technology has freed up so much of our time and efforts in a way that we are able to do more when it comes to community interaction. Because even though technology has increased, in some ways the human touch has become more valued, and we can open up our doors for programming and community interaction in a way that had started a long time ago, but now it's much more enhanced. So along with being the library and the place for information, we're also a community center in a way that still means the library is important to the development of our civil experience.